Hello and welcome back. Wonderful to be with you guys. And let's just begin by setting our intention as we do. Just mark this. So, as always, our intention, our thought, our consciousness is to make a connection to the tree of life, plug in to that great uh, consciousness that we all need, especially after the beautiful consciousness that Michael Berg shared yesterday in the meditation for the half a shekel. We want to awaken all of that light for ourselves. And maybe I'll send it if anyone didn't see it. Maybe I'll send the recording because it's such an important way to prepare our consciousness for Purim that is coming up. Purim is supposed to be supposed to be the last of all holidays, which means the final perfection of our consciousness. So we really want to make the most of this time that we're in right now, especially with the light of Purim, to really get to this state that we're supposed to in our consciousness, where we only feel the light, where we have absolute certainty, where we reveal the totality of the light of our soul. So let's meditate that through the study of the Zohar. We can open our heart to this. And what we'll be discussing today has to do with um, the actually perfection of our consciousness. The Zohar is going to speak about the Gemara Tikkun, the end of days, the time where humanity achieves its perfection of consciousness. So as we study that, as we read from that, that we're awakening that within ourselves and in the world. So with deep appreciation for the merit that we have, one of the things the Rav reveals is that the in the story of the Megillah, there's a man named Hatach. Hatach, the commentators explain, we read in the story, he was a messenger, Esther's messenger to Mordechai, but really his name, he was secretly Daniel, the prophet Daniel. And the Rav said that what he was communicating between Esther and Mordechai, what he was doing there in the story of Purim was revealing the secrets of the Zohar. He was transmitting the Zohar to the next generation, which would then eventually be revealed by Rabbi Shimon. But the wisdom and the light of the Zohar, and also the book of Daniel, a lot of the teachings of the Zohar are based on the book of Daniel. And the whole concept of the Tikkunei Zohar is all based on the book of Daniel. This book of Daniel is the only book of the prophets written in Aramaic. So this is the time, the month of Adar, the holiday of Purim, where the light of the Zohar is revealed on a different level. And we want to awaken deep appreciation for all the tzaddikim, all those who came before us, who have paved this path for us, that we get to connect to this great light. We have the merit to have access to this. And more importantly, we get to be of um, part of the group who helps spread this. The Rav would share that one of the students of Rav Ashlag that the Rav knew, and the Rav had a good connection with, he in his lifetime, his name is Rabbi Yosef Weinstock. He's actually buried near Rav Ashlag in Jerusalem. He was one of Rav Ashlag's closest students, and he had worked a lot with Rav Brandwein, and then, of course, later with the Rav. One of his proudest um, achievements in life was that in his lifetime he spread 3,000 Zohars, and he did that throughout Israel, throughout Europe. And the Rav would say that he used to carry the Zohars. He had them like sets of Zohars, smaller sets, that they would have a rope to tie the Zohar together, and then he would walk around carrying the ropes with the books bound within them. And he showed, even in his old age, the mark of the ropes never left his hand, right? Because he would walk around carrying these Zohars all the time. And his proudest achievement and shown in etched into his hand was the mark that these ropes left because of all the work he did to spread the Zohar. 3,000 Zohars in a single lifetime is amazing. But we're part of the center that spreads in just the last few years over 1 million Zohars, right? So we have to really appreciate how blessed we are to get to bring so much light, to be part of something that brings so much light, really fulfilling the dream of all the tzaddikim until now, right? When the Rav Shimon in the Zohar speaks about a time when consciousness will prevail, time when the secrets of the Zohar will be revealed, he was talking about our time. And it's up to us. We have the responsibility and the merit to help reveal this on another level. So with that, let's read the prayer of the Ari to open up our hearts, to awaken deep appreciation, to give us the support and the consciousness that we need for the day and the message the Zohar is revealing to us. ריבון העולמים ואדוני האדונים, אהב הרחמים והסליחון, מנים אנחנו לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ודאבותינו מקדש ושתחווה שקרבתנו לתורתך ולעבודתך, עבודת הקודש, ונתת לנו חלק בסודות תורתך הקדושה למען חיינו אשר עשיתם על החסד גדול זה. הכן אנחנו מקפידים תחנונים לפניך שבנכון תסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו ואל יהיו עוונותינו מעבדים אלינו לפניך. וכן יעזור לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ודאבותינו שאנחנו ננד לבבינו ליראתך ולאהבתך ותקשיב אוזנך לעיתון אלה ותפתח לבנו הערה בסודות תורתך והיא למדת זנך תוך לפני כיסא כבודך כך ניחוח. ותעצדן עלינו עומק קודש מלאנו בכל בכתנו ושיתנוצצו ניצוצות עבדיך הקדושים אשר ידע גלית את דבריך בעולם. Right, the prayer of the Ari also says that the true light of my soul will shine upon me. That's also the power of Purim. It's where the my truest essence, my greatest light is revealed. וזכותם וזכות אבותם וזכות אבותם וזכותם יעמוד לנו אבל הקשה בדברים האלה וזכותם תרננו במה שאנו לומדים כמאמן איזה מהירות ישראל גל עיניו והביט נפעל בתורתך כי אדוני ייתן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה יהיו רצונים מפיו הגונים מלפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. So here we go. Paragraph 45. So in 43 and 44 we discussed how during the time of the temple the Israelites with their actions they unified the worlds, the Sfirot, they created the necessary flow for the blessings to come down to the world. And when the temple was destroyed, then there's not a single day that there's not pain, suffering, death, destruction. And remembering why was the temple destroyed in the first place? The story of Purim, by the way, takes place between the two temples. After the destruction of the temple, the first temple, there was the 70 years of exile, and then there's the story of Purim, and then there's the rebuilding of the temple. And the Persian Empire that was about to annihilate the Israelites, instead, everything was switched, everything flipped, and they ended up helping rebuild the temple. Everything changed. So why was the temple destroyed? And the Zohar teaches and the Kabbalists teach, and it says in the Talmud, that every generation that the temple is not rebuilt, it's as if it was destroyed. So in the Zohar in paragraph 44 says that the temple was destroyed. It's talking about, again, in our time, the temple it continues to be in a state of destruction physically because there is not enough love, there's not enough care amongst ourselves, there's not enough unconditional love that exists in this world, and therefore the temple continues to be destroyed. And that's why one of the first thing that Esther and Mordechai did in order to annul the decree of Achashverosh and Haman was she said, Lech knos et kol Yehudim, bring everyone together. It's time to remove the space. It's time to remove the hatred. It's time to remove the negativity amongst us. We need to bring everyone together and awaken unconditional love. And with the unconditional love, then everything changed. And that's what it says that the king woke up, the creator woke up, the exile was over, etc. So it's just, I mean, I don't know how many times we need to remind ourselves this and how many times the Kabbalists need to say it, but it's only a question of when enough love is awakened. So the Zohar says that at that time, finally, when the love is awakened, paragraph 45, Ahu Zimna, at that time, comes the time for the moon to shine, which means where the moon shines on her own, where the moon, which represents the vessel, is complete, where the time of what's called the Gemara Tikkun, the end of the correction, when all corrections in the Malchut, in the vessel, have been made. Maktiv, what does it say? Going back to that verse that I think we started studying this verse, right? Yeah, the verse that speaks about, we started in paragraph 42. The verse that says, where is it? There we go. Hine yaskil avdi. Indeed, my servant shall prosper. So this verse is talking about the end of the correction, the time of the Gemara Tikkun, where finally the servant, who is the servant, as we'll discover, the servant, the Zohar says, will prosper means, what does it mean that my servant will prosper? Who is my servant? It's talking about the moon. The moon, which represents the Nukva, the Malchut, the vessel, the souls of again, the Malchut represents the level that is the source of the light of our world. So finally, we'll come to a state of perfection. Hine yaskil avdi, when it says that my servant will prosper, dahu razedim emnutat, the secret of certainty, which represents the nukva, the malchut. Hine yaskil, when it says that that it will prosper, indeed will prosper. The itaruta le'ela, there's going to be an awakening above. Keman de arach recha. It's as if someone smells a good smell, ve'atalit ara ulistakla, and they are intrigued or awakened by that smell, and they go in to take a look. So Rav Shimon here adds, what does it mean that hinei skill? It's like all of a sudden there will be all of a sudden the servant will prosper. It's talking about something that seems out of nowhere, meaning not because of an awakening from below, but because of an awakening of above. So the example is like, imagine that a person smells something, and that awakens. It's like awakens the creator above that smell. And it's not because of necessarily an awakening from the nukva. It's just the upper levels are awakened by the fragrance and the positivity that is awakened down below, and that awakens them above. Then it says Yarum. What does it mean to be exalted? Now, the English translation doesn't match up exactly with the Hebrew here, so it might be a little difficult for the next paragraph or so to break down what the Zohar is saying. But we'll explain as we go. So Yarum means to be exalted. So my servant will prosper and be exalted. What does it mean to be exalted? To be raised up. Paragraph 46. Yarum misita dinahora ila'ad dachol nahorin. It represents the Malchut being whole, being filled, the vessel being filled from the aspect of the supernal light, the light that is above all lights, which is the light of Keter. So the Malchut to be filled. How do you get the light of Keter, the highest light? It means you have to have a complete vessel. So finally, Malchut to be filled with all the highest lights, light of Keter. Kabbalah Tabaras, it's Yarum, when it says to be exalted, to be raised up. Kabbalah Tabaras, it says, V'lachen Yarum lerachemchem. As it says in the verse, in Isaiah, speaking about how finally the end of the correction will occur and light will be revealed. It says, truly he will arise to pardon you. Truly he will arise. Rachemchem doesn't just mean pardon, it means will have a mercy on you. Right? So I'll read the whole verse. V'lachen yechakeh Adonai lechananchem. God is waiting to show you grace, to show mercy upon you. V'lachen yarum lerachemchem. And the Creator will arise to awaken forgiveness and awaken mercy on you. Ki Elokei Mishpat Adokai, because the Lord is a God of justice. Ashrei kol chochei lo. Happy are all who wait for Him. So this verse represents the time when the light of Keter is revealed. The light of the highest level of light is revealed. And it's the same word, right? Yarum is the same word, to be exalted or arise. Then the verse continues, V'nisa, and be raised. So I'll translate it literally, and then we'll use the English to understand. So Yarum will be exalted. V'nisa will be raised. V'gava means be raised to like great heights, or heights, I guess. Me'od means a lot. So Gavegava Me'od will be raised up to great heights. So the Zohar is going to explain each word as it corresponds to the unique light that's being revealed. Venisa means Misita de Avraham, from the side of Abraham, which is energy of Chesed. Vegava, when it says that to great heights, what does that mean? Misita de Yitzchak, That's the side of Isaac that represents the level of Gvura. Me'od, when it says that it will be raised up a lot or greatly, what does Me'od mean? Bisitra di Yaakov, the side of Jacob, which represents the energy of Tiferet. So the Zohar is saying, what is the light that's going to be awakened within the Nukva? It's the first we said the light of Chesed, then the light of Chesed Gvura Tiferet, first light of Keter, and then the light of Chesed Gvura Tiferet. It's being filled with light on all levels. And even though we've learned and explained this verse one way, already differently, the Zohar says, not here, but somewhere else, apparently. It's all one secret in the secret of wisdom. Paragraph 47. That time, again, the time that ended the correction. There's going to be an awakening by the Creator, an awakening from above. The guy's just reminding us, we're not just reading about some prophecy or something. We, as the Zohar is writing about this, revealing that the light that's going to be revealed at the end of the days, we can already start to access it. That's also the power of Purim, right? So just remembering, we're more than just learning about something or reading about something. We want to meditate to experience this light. When the sages would study these sections of the Zohar, at the end you would see they start crying, they kiss each other's hands, they're so overwhelmed by the teaching because it's not a teaching, it's an experience. They're connecting to this light at the end of the correction. So when this time comes that the Creator will be awakened from above, then the Creator, Kutchabichu, often represents, Holy One, Blessed be He, often represents the energy of Zerampin. So that light shines upon the moon, which represents the Nukva, the Malchut, Kikayot, as it properly should. Kabbalah Damar, as it says, Ve'aya ora levana ke'orchama, ve'orchama yeh shivatan ke'or shivat hayamim. It says in the prophecy in Isaiah, there will come a time when the light of the moon shall shine like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will shine 7 times its light. Ke'ol shivat hayamim. Like the light of the 7 days, which represents the original light, the Ora Ganuz, the original light of creation. Which means instead of the diminishment of the moon and the lack of the vessel, the imperfection, the defects, the flaws of the vessel, as Zohar's been speaking about the last few sections, everything will come to a state of perfection. And what will happen at the time when the Creator binds his people's wounds, umachatz makato yirpa, and heals the injuries it has suffered. Meaning, all lack will be fulfilled. There will be no lack. There will be no negativity. There will only be light. It's representing the time of the end of the correction. Umalaz de'at Hashem. The all the land will know and experience light of the Creator. There will be no more negativity. There will be no more place for the light to hide anymore. That's also the power of Purim, to reveal the concealed. Megillat Esther, to reveal the concealed light. That's also the Bayamuhu Yeshem Echad U'Shmo Echad. On that day, the light and the vessel will be one. All the light will be revealed. And this is also one of the verses that we say when we do the blessing of the moon. This is the time of the blessing of the moon, the first half of the month, leading up to the full moon, where we also, one of the things that Michael Berg explained, in the first half of the month, the moon grows every day. And we want to meditate that, because what happens normally at the full moon, then the moon starts to shrink again, which means we haven't completed the tikkun process. Our desire is that once the moon becomes full on the 15th of the month, on the 16th of the month, it will be even bigger. 17th, even bigger. 18th, even bigger. It continues to grow until it gets to the place where it becomes the size of the sun, which means we finally completed our work. That's one of the meditations to do during the blessing of the moon and the first half of the month during Rosh Chodesh. Therefore, itosaf ba ruach hila'ah. A supernal light, a great light from above will be drawn, will be added and drawn within the nukva, and therefore itarun kedein kol inun metaya de inun goafa. And because of this great light that is revealed within the nukva, then all those who have been buried in the dirt, all those buried in the dust, all those dead, will be resurrected. Life will come back to them. That's the time of immortality, time of Tchiyat HaMetim, resurrection of the dead. 48. V'dahu avdi. And that's what it means in the verse when it says, Yes, v'hine yaskil avdi. Who is this servant that we're talking about? Oh, oops. Raza de maftechan de mare bide. It represents, even though avdi is in the masculine, and we're talking here about the nukva, which is the feminine, it represents the same concept as the servant, this level of the vessel, that the keys of the master are in his hands. Okay, let's see if we finish the paragraph and make more sense. So the keys of the master is in his hands. As it says, Abraham said to his servant. We know that when Abraham wanted to find a wife for Isaac, and now the Zohar is going to start to go into this whole story and explain these verses. Abraham called his servant Eliezer, and he told him, "You have to find a wife for my son Isaac. You have to find Isaac's soulmate." This is back in the portion of Chayei Sarah. We studied this already. He says, you need to swear to me that you're going to find Isaac's soulmate, not within the land of Canaan, outside the land of Canaan. You have to find her from my family, outside the land of Canaan. So he makes him swear. So before that, the Zohar says, who is Abraham's servant? Again, because we're talking about a servant, so now we're understanding who this servant is. This represents the moon, as we've explained, the Malchut. Malchut is the servant. Metat di'u eved shalicha demare. And it represents who reveals the light of the servant, who is also the servant. How is the light in the Nukva revealed? It's through the angel Metat. You can't say this name, it's too powerful. Metat is the angel that controls all the other angels, as we'll see. And he's specifically tasked for helping bring the light of Tchiyat HaMetim, immortality, to the world. That this is the messenger who he is the servant, the messenger of the master. And that's why it says that the Malchut is the servant, and there's the Metat who helps reveal this light. So now the Zohar is going to continue to explain this verse when it says that Abraham called his servant. It says that he is Zekan Beito. He is the elder of his house. Paragraph 49. What does Zekan Beito mean? It says Na haiti gam zakanti. When it says in Psalm 37, verse 25, Na haiti, we say this in the Birkat Hamazon, of course. It says, I was once young, and I am now old. And we learned this verse a few weeks ago, I think, that this verse is referring to the angel Metat and the way that he receives his light. And we went through that whole revelation already. But it's saying that who is the servant represents the angel Metat. HaMoshe b'chol hashelo, and it says in the verse that the Eliezer, but really Metat, who is in control of everything that he had, he managed everything he had. Begin the whole gevanin idchazun be, because within this angel Metat, all the colors can be seen within him. What are the colors? Yarok, v'chiva, v'sumak. Green, white, and red. The Zohar explains these are the colors of what are called the colors of the rainbow. Now, of course, there are many colors, but these represent the foundation of the colors the Kabbalists teach. And we're not speaking necessarily just about physical colors. These colors, there are 4 colors the Zohar speaks about often. There is green, white, and red, which represent the 3 columns, the right column, left column, central column. I can't remember if green or white is right column at the moment. I think right column is white, green is central column, and red is left column. If I think so, I don't remember. But what Rav Shimon says here, actually, we're not talking just about colors. or Sfirot. It says that all the colors are seen. It means that within the angel Metat are all the angels, and specifically the angels Michael, Gavriel, and Raphael, the angels of right column, left column, central column, which it says that the Shekhinah cannot be seen without these colors. It's these angels who help reveal the light of the Shekhinah. And the angel Metat includes all these colors. He holds within him all these angels, um, within him. Then it continues, Simna yadcha tachad yerechi, put your hand under my thigh. So this was something that was common that Abraham did with his servants and his children, and it was the way that Abraham and his descendants would swear to each other. They would say, place your hand under my thigh. It was a nice way of saying, put your hand near, meaning swear on my covenant. Right? I know it sounds strange, but that's how they would do it. I don't know if we would literally do it. But the covenant, which represents the place of the circumcision, the place of the Brit Milah, that covenant represents the greatest bond between Abraham and the Creator, between us and the Creator. So Abraham would make him swear on the covenant, on under his thigh. So paragraph 50, what does it say? What does it mean to place your hand under my thigh to make to swear? Dahu tzaddik, that represents the level of tzaddik. Tzaddik is the level of Yisod. That's the place of the circumcision, the place of the covenant. Raza de Mila, the secret of the matter is Kiyuma de Alma. That is where the existence, what sustains the world. That's the level of what sustains the world. The Hakedain, because then when the level of Yisod is attached or holding on to the level of Yisod, when that connection is made, this servant becomes responsible. Sorry. Becomes entrusted in the secret, supernal secret, to resurrect all those who live down in what happened here? All those who reside down in the earth, which means all those who are buried in the dirt, all those who are dead. And becomes the messenger with the supernal spirit. And to return souls and spirits and souls back to their place. Within those bodies that became that were swallowed up and decomposed within the ground. This is the process of returning their souls back to their body, which is the light of immortality. Paragraph 51, we'll just end with this. So Abraham says, put your hand under my thigh, which means angel, Metat, attach yourself now. Now you have the angel of Chesed Tiferet, angels of Michael, Gavriel, and Raphael. You're connected to Chesed Tiferet. Now attach yourself to the level of Yesod, which is the source of life down in this world. And I'll make you swear on the name of God, the God of heavens. What does that mean? What does Va'ashbiacha mean? To make you swear. Ma'e Va'ashbiacha? Leidlabsha beraza de sheva nehori nilaim. I will make you swear on the light of the seven supernal lights, which represents the seven sfirot, the seven lower sfirot. Chesed Gvura Tiferet Netzach Hod Yisod Malchut. De'inu neraza de shlimu ila'a, which are the secret of the supernal perfection. Which, that's why ashbiacha, the word I will make you swear, is the root of the word is Shavua, which means to swear, but it's also the word Sheva, which is seven. So Abraham was saying to his servant, or represents the angel Metat as being attached to the seven Sfirot that will bring the light down into the Malchut, the complete light. And what does he say? He makes him swear, don't take another wife. Only take a wife. Dahu gufa ditchot afra. Go back to your wife represents your vessel. Go back to the vessel, the body that is buried in the earth. That is now going to be resurrected, come back, be rebuilt, and in a way recreated, reborn, brought back to life, which represents the the white vessel, the body. All those who were buried in the earth, and they had the merit to be buried in the land of Israel. They will be resurrected first. Kamadu Akimna, as we know, as we've established. That's why it says in Isaiah, let your dead revive your dead. First it says, first those who died or are buried in the land of Israel will be resurrected. Again, as the Zohar is describing the time of resurrection, we're not just talking about some future, we are awakening this light. And then after it says, resurrect your dead, it says, nevelati yekumun. Then it says, let corpses arise, meaning not your dead anymore. It's now referring to another resurrection that's going to happen. Inun metin dishar. This represents the dead in the rest of the world, other lands. Ve'adan, therefore, le'inun gufehon d'Yisrael dit keravu taman. Therefore, those the people of Israel who are buried in the land of Israel, not referring to the other bodies of other nations that are idolatrous nations, to be for the land to be defiled or impure by them. We're going to continue to explain more about the resurrection and more about what the Zohar is talking about tomorrow. But just to connect to this energy the Zohar is speaking about, when we talk about resurrection, we're not just talking about, like zombies coming up. Resurrection means in our own lives right now. Where do I need this light, the highest light, to come and fill me? Where do I need that renewal in my own life? And through the light of the Zohar we just connected to, we can awaken that. Lots of love to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow we'll continue with paragraph 52. Have an amazing day.